Hey everybody, this is AL Pick Madame, and of course somebody needs to do the most when I start a video randomly out of nowhere after it's been quiet all day. Anyway, I'm just coming on here to do a short video. When I literally first ever in life heard something negative about LeAndrias Johnson, I wasn't making videos. And a lot of my friends that are Christians, I never felt comfortable coming to them with this information and or conversation because some of them, from other things that I've seen happen when it comes to Christianity and certain people who are figureheads or, are seen as people who can do no wrong, who really actually do plenty of wrong, when those situations have occurred and their true selves were actually revealed, they continued to act as if nothing happened and turned a blind eye, was still sharing the information that they've seen those people like the Creflo Dollars and what's his name? The one who died not too long ago. Well, it's been a while now, but Eddie Long and people like that. But anyway, it's just a lot. But today I'm talking about LeAndrias Johnson. Before I really get started, I want to say that this is not me bashing her at all. This is not me being negative towards her at all. There are times that people just need tough love, and I'm just speaking from what I've actually seen when she did these random videos. I haven't seen every single one of them, but I'm just going to speak from the things that I've seen. So, Iyanla Fix My Life came on last week, the first part of the one that features LeAndrias Johnson. So years ago, when the first Periscope video surfaced, it had her on there and her kids, and she was clearly drunk as a skunk and on there and going off on the people who were basically saying, hey, you're drunk. Like, I can't believe you're drunk. And then she would say stuff like, you ain't gotta worry about what's in my cup. Or she would actually tell people what was in it and all this other stuff. And like, she still was drinking and she was clearly already gone. She was faded. So I was just looking at it like, what in the world? And I don't even know how it came up in my recommendations because, as I've mentioned before, I do have other forms of social media, but I don't go on there like that and I don't really follow people. So there really is no reason for me to give that information out. If for some reason I end up blowing up magically, then, of course I will start posting that below in the description area and all that good stuff. But anyway, I don't know if y'all saw like the very first video that, to me, at least that's the first one I saw, where she was on Periscope and she was going off. And, she just randomly went live because she felt like, I feel good. I'm in my house chilling. I just want to say what's up to y'all. And it kind of turned on her because people were in the comment section like, girl, you drunk, you toe down. Like, what is really going on right here? So, she ended up getting a lot of backlash, and she just would continuously get on Periscope and wherever else going off. And recently, apparently, I've heard about this. She's gone live and she has said terrible things about Christianity. She has literally said F the church, F everybody, and all this other stuff, like talking real reckless. She said the church is a cult and all this other stuff. And I don't know if it's because she has gotten such backlash because of what she's done, because she's not the traditional type of minister and all that. Now, I don't know if any of y'all saw this, but I think she was on the show Preachers of Atlanta, trying to make sure if it was Atlanta LA, Detroit, or wherever the other one was. But I think it was Atlanta. She was on Preachers of Atlanta. I was excited. I used to watch that franchise, live for it. I've been waiting on the others to come back, and they never did. So when she was on there, when she would do her ministry, she would do the street ministry. She would get out there. She would dress like the people who she saw on the streets. She would give them cigarettes. She would give them condoms. She would give them clean needles. And people who are also ministers, they thought that that was crazy, and it seemed as though she was condoning them doing drugs. As far as when the needles came into play, she was condoning not unsafe. She was condoning premarital sex and all this other stuff. I think Canton Jones, I don't know if any of the other ones did or not, but I think he was the only one who wasn't like judgmental when she was doing this. And he saw firsthand when she was out there in the streets doing this stuff. But a lot of the other ones, the other ministers, pastors, whatever, they had a lot to say about it. And I understand it. And like I already said, she's not the traditional type of minister or whatever you want to call her, preacher, pastor, whatever. But, I feel like when she did that, she was doing I'm going to come to you where you are. I'm going to meet you where you are. I get that. I ain't had no issue with what she was doing. So, and she actually would literally minister to these people while she was giving them the cigarette, the condom, or the clean needle. So they're not using dirty needles and will end up possibly contracting some sort of STD, AIDS, HIV, all this crazy stuff. So I saw no issue with that. A lot of people felt like they might have been kind of on board had she not dressed like them, and her outfits were, I don't know if I want to say scantily clad, but they were somewhere around scantily clad, so to speak. But it's kind of like how a lot of the street walkers would actually dress. So whatever. I didn't have an issue with it. I felt like as long as she was ministering to them, do what you do. Because there are other people who are ministers that will see these same people on the street. They'll be like, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. And they'll talk down on them and not try to meet them where they are, which is what LeAndrias Johnson was doing. Okay, so fast forward to the Iyanla Fix My Life. Now, I am unclear as to whether or not when this was recorded / taped, was this during the exact time she just now went to a 30-day stint in rehab or what? Because literally, I know it's been less than a month. I randomly saw a video pop up and she was checking herself into a rehab for 30 days. She's done all this before. And when I saw the video, I was like, why do y'all do this? That makes me so mad when people really have a terrible problem with drugs and alcohol. And when they go for just 30 days. And it's like, you need more than that. You really are a really, really in-depth alcoholic. Why are you only going for 30 days? You have the money to sustain your family while you're gone. You should do 90 plus days. You know what I'm saying? I think 30 days is nothing for her. So, I mean, yeah, I'm pretty clear on the fact that she has had shows and all the stuff that she might have set up, but it's gotten to the point now with what she said recently about F the church and all this other stuff that things have been kind of spiraling out of control, and everybody is not really trying to honor those contracts because of these things. Even her management, as far as the label is concerned, they don't even know if they really want to still deal with her, so to speak, because it's looking bad on them. It's looking bad on the community as a whole. It's already bad enough that there are people who have never believed in anything dealing with religion or they've had things to happen to them and they fell out of love with Christ and out of love and out of touch with the church. And then things like this happen. And that's when you see people saying, oh, all these people are fake. All church people are fake. Everybody is fake. And Christianity is not real. All this stuff is not real. And so I fully understand why. If I was somebody on the outside looking in, if I had no knowledge of what church, Christianity, any form of religion was about, I would probably say the same thing because of how crazy people are out here presenting themselves. And I can only imagine all the strain that she's under. And I get it to a certain extent because I'm not experiencing it. That's why I can say I get it to a certain extent, because you won Sunday Best. She has an amazing voice. I saw her on Sunday Best. I didn't have cable, but I found a way to somebody's house to watch her on it. That's how much I loved her voice. She is amazing, and I was so happy when she won. Pretty sure I shed a tear for her. But it's like all these things have happened to her, have been a blessing, and then she turns around and then she curses the church and all these things that she's saying. It's like, I just wish I could reach out and be like, you do know that this is your bread and butter. And now you're talking down on all these people. You have so many fans that you've disappointed. You have so many people who are following you. You have so many people who look up to you, who are all the way done with you. It might very well be done with Christianity as a whole because of you and your antics. So I just wish that there was some way that she could get all that under control. And I know that that most definitely starts with her being all the way done with alcohol. She needs to not do alcohol at all. She needs to be completely sober, never drinking again. I don't know if that's going to happen because every time I look up, she'll do 30 days here, 30 days there. It's not enough. She is too far gone with her addiction that she needs way more than 30 days. And she needs to be completely done with it when she's out again. And it's like every time you look up, if she's not drinking, she's smoking. And I can't say, oh, well, you shouldn't do that. But, you know, it's just, that's actually a pattern that I've seen with a lot of people who have alcohol addictions. If they're not drinking excessively, they end up smoking. And that's kind of feeding the beast, so to speak, when they're not indulging in that. So I'm just hopeful that one day she will understand that it needs to be more than let me go over here for 30 days. And the people know her over there. When they did the video, she checked in. The girl who checked her in knew her, not just because she is LeAndrias Johnson. It's just because she's been there more than once. And it's like, here we go again. I know the routine. And it's just like, girl, this is too much. There needs to be people who are in her corner that say to her, you need to put that down. I love you too much for you to be out here like this. I don't want you to go out like this. There are so many people who, down in history, who have been amazing singers. This is just singing. The David Ruffins of the world. Even Paul. What was his name? Paul Williams. Both of those guys were from the Temptations. And what happened with them? Drugs and alcohol. And they dead and gone. Amazing voices. You know what I'm saying? There's just so many people. Shaka, she is just lucky that she hasn't gone completely out like that now because she has gone through recovery so many times. And now people are talking again, like they have moments where they'll see her and she'll seem like she done took a bump or something. And I'm like, girl, come on. I hope that's not the case. So, the list would go on forever. There's just been so many people who've been amazing and they let drugs and alcohol ruin their careers. James Brown, oh my God. It's like, why y'all do all this stupid stuff when y'all have so much to lose? Like, I never understood stuff like that. They get all this fame, all this money, and then they say, yes, let me do these drugs. Yes, let me just drink like a fish. And to the point where I black out. I've never understood when people explain to me that they drink until they know nothing that's happening around them. Why? And I'm not gonna sit up here and lie like I don't drink. I drink from time to time, and it's like a frozen margarita, and I've never even been tipsy. And I mean, all the alcohol is in it, all the tequila is in it. But I drink water with mine. I don't get a buzz. I don't get none of that. I don't even know what any of that feels like. And I don't think it's because I have a high tolerance. It's just that I drink a whole lot of water, and I don't drink very often. So I just really wish that LeAndria would just really find a way to get a handle on all this. She needs to have a long-term therapist and AA meetings day in and day out. I mean, somewhere in every city that she visits, she needs to go to a meeting. She needs to do something because she has kids to live for. And that's another thing, y'all. I'm confused. Back in the day, I wanted to discuss this, and like I said, I couldn't really. I felt like I couldn't go to my Christian friends and discuss it. But she's married, right? Okay. The guy that was on the Periscope that night was not her husband, but he's living there. And so, at one point in time, it's a show I watch, and he appeared on the show, and he was like, yeah, that man that y'all have seen on that Periscope video, that's not her husband. I'm her husband. We are legally married. I don't know if they're still married or not, but they're legally married and all this other stuff. And I was just like, what in the world is going on? Like, why are y'all still married? You need to get divorced or whatever y'all gonna do, because I thought her husband was over there in the house with her and the kids. So it's just so much stuff that's confusing on all fronts that it's just like, okay, this is too much going on in your life, girl. You got too much going on. Too many people enabling. Just like that guy who Iyanla is eventually going to completely read. And I wish LeAndria actually would fire him, because Iyanla was like, that's what you need to do. You need to get rid of him. The dude over there looking like, oh no, that's my bread and butter. Don't fire me. That's how he looking. But he has been enabling her. He'll look through videos or whatever social media platforms are and see all kinds of negative comments, and he'll delete them, trying to hide them for her, doing all this crazy stuff. And it's like, you're enabling her. You the one bringing her drinks. You the one over here trying to hide the comments. She needs to see all this stuff. She needs to see all this and understand that even though you do not want to be, you indeed are seen as a role model. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. Even people like Cardi B. And I ain't gonna sit up here and lie. When she first came out and she did what she did, I was happy that she got on, because people were doubting her. And she does ratchet music and all that stuff, but I'm just saying, she really was out here in the studio. She was consistent. Other people were just like, oh, I'm on this platform, I'm just gonna do like everybody else. She really wanted to do this stuff, even though I don't think she really writes anything. But, you know, does Beyonce? I don't think so. I think I've heard that she steals everybody's stuff. I've heard songs that were clearly everybody else's, and then she stole it, and it became a hit over here. But I digress. I'm not even gonna get into that beehive, but I'm just saying, that's actual fact. That's not alleged, that's a fact. But anyway, LeAndria is very, very talented, and she has been seen as a role model. People looked up to her. People lived for her. They loved what she would say. She was ministering to people through music. She has a thriving music ministry, but she's choosing to drink over doing what she has been doing. And whether or not she is questioning, okay, is this really my calling or not, she needs to sit down and have a come to Jesus moment, as my mama used to always say. You need to just have a come to Jesus meeting, come to Jesus moment, or whatever, and decide, what is it gonna be? What are you actually doing? Like, is this what you feel like your calling is, or you feel like it's not anymore? Like, what is really going on? Because you are confusing people. People are out here thinking that you are of the church and that you represent us, but then you're out here acting a fool and saying ignorant stuff and very damaging things that it's like, wow, even your own label is looking at you sideways like, okay, we got you on the roster, but we don't trust you right now, because every time we look up, you're saying some slick on your social media platforms. So it's just crazy to me. I don't know how tonight's episode of Iyanla Fix My Life is going to go, but like I said, I'm very curious to know if this is when she checks herself in for those 30 days, like if that's when they recorded, taped, whatever, that episode or not. And like I said, I really do feel as though she needs to do way more than 30 days. Most people do who are at the level of alcoholism that she's at. LeAndria, if you ever were to see this, I really hope that you get the help that you need. You know what I'm saying? We all go through things. I'm sorry for the loss of your brother. And she did mention that her brother died like 2.5 years ago, and she feels like she started drinking even heavier to kind of cope. And I'm very sorry that that happened to you. You need to speak to someone about all of that instead of just drowning yourself in drinking with alcohol. It's just terrible. It's a terrible habit. I had a cousin to go down that road. I wondered every year I went to the family reunion for that particular family whether or not he was going to be there or not, because I didn't know if we were going to be discussing he's in the hospital on his deathbed or what. But God is amazing. That's how I know God is amazing. LeAndria, you can come out of this. My cousin was very far gone, and it's like nobody could talk to him. He finally saw some sort of a breakthrough, and now he's amazing. He does not drink at all when we're at family functions. We had beer. We still had all the stuff we normally had, all kinds of alcohol. He'll politely get water or soda or some kind of lemonade or something like that. He would not have any alcohol, even though all the temptation was all around him. And he's living for himself, and he's living for his children. I was just so happy. Like, you could tell he is a completely different person, and I believe that you can be that way as well, girl. Anyway, I didn't mean to talk this long. Hopefully, a lot of y'all will understand where I'm coming from. LeAndria, if you ever see this girl, like I said in the beginning of this video, I'm not trying to bash you. I'm not trying to be negative. I just want the best for you. I saw you, and I was rooting for you when you were on Sunday Best, and you won, and I was so happy for you. And I just knew that you would go up from there. And your music is amazing. So I just want the best for you. Please get all the help that you need and all the help that you can get. Girl, I love you. Anyway, everybody else, I love y'all as well. Y'all have a good evening. Have a good weekend. I'll see y'all next time.